Shalom, family. I know it's a little early, but we're still going to go over what happened today during the trial and the sentencing phase. So they listened to the statements from both sides, and it was real powerful hearing from Kenneth Herring's family, because we haven't really heard a lot from them over these past few years. And, it was kind of good to see. And it makes it more real when you see a person's family talk about them. And I think that was really a great moment for the family to air out how they felt. Now, one thing I'm happy about, y'all, is nobody got up on the stand and did that I forgive you stuff. They did get up on the stand, and I think all of his two sisters and his brother said they wanted life without parole. Nobody forgave, and that is refreshing because we sure don't hear that enough as far as I'm concerned. Far too often we keep hearing about forgiveness, and the person didn't even ask for forgiveness. And we certainly know Hannah Payne, she did not ask for any kind of forgiveness. So, it went over the highlights of the trial, and when she was found guilty. And what they did was they combined some of the sentences. So she really got, instead of 8 counts, 3 counts after the prosecutor kind of combined stuff together. So, look, it was kind of refreshing that she got life. That's what I was hoping for. I know many of us thought she was going to get far less than that, 20 years, 30 years. It's life, but she got to do 80% of her sentence, which is a good thing. So if she does get out of there, if she does, she is coming out as an elderly woman. That's how she's going to be walking out. And she better pray those inmates don't get a hold of her. You saw what they did to Derek Chauvin, right? And she could easily, because she took a life without really good reason or cause. And then she tried to insult everybody's intelligence to make us believe that she did it out of self defense. And there was no self defense involved in that killing. She straight up murdered Kenneth Herring. There is no doubt about it. She murdered that man. And then she accused him of being drunk. They said there was no alcohol in his system at all. And she's not in any position to know or diagnose somebody. I mean, who the hell is she? She don't know that man like that to be diagnosing him. But this is the end result of a Karen that couldn't leave well enough alone. If she would have minded her own business and did as she was instructed by the 911 operator, she would be free today. But she got over excited with that gun in her hand. Did you see how empowered she was acting with that gun in her hand? And like I said, when you saw the body cam, everybody on the street saying, she killed that man. She just killed that man. Nobody said, not one person that was in that area where it happened said it was self-defense other than Hannah Payne. Nobody did except for her. But y'all, let's face it, in this society, there are people that really truly believe they should be able to get away with murdering us. And there should be no jail time, no consequences, and they should be able to go on with their life. There are many, unfortunately, like that. Too many. And she was one of them. She really truly believed she should never have been punished for what she did. And this is more proof of how racist the society is. It's like anybody but our deaths should be accounted for. Our deaths, they should not be accounted for. Everybody should be able to go home and go on with life. That's how they really truly see it when it comes down to us. But yeah, well, she put herself out there and look at what happened. Yeah. Astarte Jones, she brought up Zimmerman and Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah, some of them do get away with, in fact, too many. But in this instance, there was no way she could get away with it because it was too much, too many cameras around, and the body cam footage from the cop. And if you go back and listen to her testimony, because I listened to her entire testimony, her testimony did not match what was on the video. And that's another thing these people got real bad. They seem to think their word trumps everything that's even on the video, you know and it should not be like that at all. Now, I got an email from one of my subscribers, and I don't know exactly everything she was doing, but I think she was trying to skip an ad, and she ended up losing practically everything. Now, YouTube, as of October 14th, they did put, and I did do a video on it, that they don't want people skipping ads anymore. And she lost her channel membership with me. She lost her moderator wrench. She lost everything just in the act of trying to skip an ad. It is crazy how things are set up now. So, just let the ad play. Just turn the volume down if you have to. Me, I am not going to lie to you. I got premium now. So I don't see any ads whatsoever. I just broke down and got premium. In the beginning, I was letting the ads run whenever I was on someone's channel. And then after a while, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get a premium account. And that's what I got. Yeah, yeah. The problem was she thought she had the right, and many of them take on that attitude that they got the right to approach us, demand that we identify ourselves, demand that we show ID, demand that we answer to them. And we absolutely don't have to do any of those things, ladies and gentlemen. They are not the authority. They may think they are, but they're not the authority. And unfortunately, we encounter that. Karen herself is the embodiment of that. She believes that when she approaches a Black man, woman, or child, we have to answer to her. And we absolutely don't. And if they tell you you can't leave, then they are illegally detaining you. And they can be sued for that. And that's what Hannah Payne did. She blocked this man on the road so he couldn't leave. So she illegally detained him. And no, that is not their right to do that. Yeah, no, they can't tell you if you're out in public, you didn't commit a crime, you didn't do anything wrong. They have no right to tell you that you can't leave. At that point, you make sure you get all the necessary information to sue that person. Nobody can illegally detain you. Yeah, I don't care if they say, I'm going to get your license plate. Well, go get the license plate. If you didn't commit a crime, what are they going to do with your license plate? Man, get out of here. Well, now it cost her everything. She can't get up and live life like she did. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, she still had it good. She had it good because she was out for 4 straight years after she killed that man, Kenneth Herring. So, who gets to stay out for 4 years after murdering somebody? Privilege. That's exactly what privilege looked like. Mhm. Oh, trust me, if they would have got up on that stand and started that forgive stuff, I would have there would not be a live stream going on right now. I am not kidding you. I would not have done this live stream at all. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, Byron, I would not have done it, but with my circumstances a little different because I'm a YouTube creator. I think if I was just kind of like a spectator or just subscribe and I wasn't doing videos, I probably wouldn't worry about that either. Shalom to everybody in the chat. Shalom. It's good to see you all. So, I'm going to show you a video. This video is about 5 minutes long. And let me get rid of this. It's 5 minutes and 10 seconds long. And you're going to see her get sentenced. You're going to see her reaction. And one thing that the prosecutor said that I really like, she said, those tears are not for the victim, those tears are for her. She could care less about Kenneth Herring. Those tears were for her. Israelite, Nephite, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. All right, y'all. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Okay. This court has sat through the trial, has heard arguments of defense and the state, has listened to the witnesses today, and after considering all of those things, the court will impose sentence as follows. Please stand, Ms. Payne. With respect to count 1, malice murder, the court will impose a sentence of life with a possibility of parole. With respect to count 2, felony murder, that will merge into count 1 and is dismissed as a matter of law. With respect to count 3, aggravated assault, that merges into counts 1 and 2. With respect to count 4, felony murder, that merges into count 1 and it is dismissed as a matter of law. With respect to count 5, the false imprisonment verdict, the court imposes a sentence of 8 years consecutive. With respect to count 6, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, the court imposes a sentence of 5 years that will run consecutive to the underlying sentence. Count 7 and 8 will merge into count 6. So the court's total sentence is life with the possibility of parole plus 8 years consecutive on false imprisonment and 5 years consecutive on the possession of firearm during the commission of a felony. And that is the court sentence. So I'll remand you again, Ms. Payne, into the custody of the Sheriff's Department. Before I do have some instructions for Ms. Payne. You have a right to seek post-judgment relief from your conviction of the crimes, either by making a motion for a new trial in this court and or filing an appeal to a higher appellate court. If you want to file a motion for a new trial or an appeal, then you will need to file the said motion or a notice of appeal with the clerk of Superior Court of this county within 30 days. You may want to more fully discuss this with your attorney. If a motion for a new trial is made and the court denies it, you will have 30 days from the filing of this order of denial in which to file with the clerk of court your notice of appeal. You have a right to have an attorney represent you on the motion for new trial and the first level of direct appellate review. And if you cannot afford to hire an attorney, the court will provide you an attorney and a transcript of your trial at no cost. In addition, usually you have a period of 4 years from the date of your sentence, which is today, before in this court becomes final to file a habeas corpus petition. The details that can affect the time within which you must file this petition are contained in the copy of this code subsection, and I'm going to ask the deputies to hand that to you. And so you have 4 years from today's date to file a habeas corpus petition. Councils, I can confer with you as to set in a date for the hearing for a motion for new trial, but we can do that once we're adjourned. Okay. Could you have
One question.
Yes.
I know she said 8, and are any of those additional charges or anything to be probated?
I believe I was very clear, Attorney Tucker, that they're consecutive.
So consecutive to serve.
The life with the possibility of parole. Okay. Anything further from the state?
Nothing further statement.
Anything further from defense counsel?
So,
Okay, thank you. Staying, you may go with the next possessed. With respect to this matter, the court stands adjourned at this time.
Okay. So she got life with the possibility of parole. But remember, she's got to do 80% of that sentence before she is even eligible for parole. Oh, no, Tina Diggs, I am with you. I don't feel nothing for her. She did not feel a thing for Kenneth when she walked up to his car window and shot him. And then she lied about the entire thing. That's why everything unraveled on her so quickly. And they only took 2 hours to reach a verdict because nothing she said matched the videos from the body cam. And also there were video cams outside. And nothing she said matched what we saw on the video. I mean, these people are so arrogant and so full of themselves. They literally believe their word trumps anything that's on the video cam. You know? And no, it's not like that at all. And remember, she can be denied probation. It doesn't mean just because she's up for probation, that doesn't mean she'll get it. Yeah, I mean, her whole testimony on the stand was a lie. I think the only thing she told the truth about was her name. After that, after she gave her name, the rest of her testimony was just riddled with lies. She tried to say she didn't block him, and it was very obvious she was blocking him. Then she said she never raised her voice when they played the body cam footage. She was out there screaming and calling him MFer and everything else. She was the only voice you heard was hers. You didn't even hear his voice at all, just hers. Then she said, she had the gun, but he pulled the trigger and killed himself. I was like, that doesn't even make any common sense, but that's the testimony she gave. And they said there was no evidence that he grabbed the trigger of the gun and shot himself. But that is the ridiculous story. They think any crazy, outlandish story they tell should be believed. And then when, the prosecutor had a assistant It was a black woman, and when she got up to question Hannah, she copped an attitude and act like she didn't want to answer the questions. And eh, you really think about it, it was kind of brilliant what they did because she and her attorney were trying to claim race did not have anything to do with it. But when she got questioned by a black woman, she got really she got really nasty. She act like she didn't want to answer her question. She took on a whole different attitude. And I think they did that on purpose. They knew how she was going to react, and she played right into their hands. Well, she said she saw him hit a vehicle and kept right on going. Yeah, even if that was the case, that doesn't mean somebody should die for that reason. How many times do we see or hear about hit and runs? That doesn't mean somebody deserves to die. They think any little minuscule thing we should just die over. It is just the most ridiculous thing ever. Mhm. But you know what? She pretty much did herself in. I would say the closest thing to her testimony was the one that Travis McMichael gave about Ahmaud Arbery. He tried to make it seem like Ahmaud Arbery was acting really odd and strange, and he was just acting really weird. So what? Even if he was, that doesn't mean he deserves to die. But they really believe these kind of testimonies are going to get them off. He did the same thing. That's probably the closest I would compare her testimony to Travis McMichael. Mhm. But yeah, so she definitely, if she wants to blame somebody for why she's behind bars, she really did this to herself big time. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Well, look, our people don't even have to commit a crime to end up behind bars for decades. No crime even happens. They'll just make one up in the courts and throw them in jail. And that's what happens 90% of the time on the people that are in there for 50 and 60 years. Come to find out, either the prosecutor or the cops, or sometimes both, are making up a lie, and they're pinning murders and grapes and all kinds of things on our people. And they end up in jail for many decades before they even can get out. But think about it, all the free labor they got out of that person. So they don't really care. It's still a valuable thing to get them in there because of all the work they're going to get out of them. This place is sick. It is really, truly a sick place. Mhm. Her parents look like hillbillies. Yeah, they really did. Craig Watkins. Yeah, I did hear something about that. But, I'm Dr. Sharon, I am not surprised. It's so many of our brothers are in there and should not be in there at all, you know? And I think they do a lot of this in effort to try to make us look a certain way. Oh, you guys commit all the crimes. And, when you go back and look, we have never committed all the crimes. Oh, well, you're 13% of the population and commit 51% of that. Doesn't even make any sense. Somebody is doing some bad high IQ math. But I think they do it to also make us look a certain way. They don't care if it's all a lie or it's all fabricated. They could care less just as long as we look bad to the entire planet. And that's really the only premise for their media. The media is just there to make us look as bad as possible. And who watches their media these days? I mean, if it's not a specific thing I wanna see, I don't even watch them. And when it comes down to wars, I won't even watch American media at all because it's just way too biased. I'll just go to the foreign sites and check out what I wanna look at, and then I just keep it moving. But look, Hannah is behind bars, and she looks miserable as hell, and I'm happy about that. I'm very happy. So now, she better hope there's no inmates in there that will start targeting her just like Derek Chauvin. He's now a big, big target in Arizona in that Club Fed that he's in. He's a target. Yeah, she'll lose weight with that bad prison food. Yeah, she'll probably lose a lot of weight now. She definitely gained from the time that crime was committed until now. Looked like she packed on a good 100 pounds. Mhm. And did you try to here was a good one. One of her friends, I guess this was like a family friend, got on the stand and tried to insist that Hannah was not a racist because she had a black boyfriend when she was in school. I was like, why do y'all think they always believe telling you they got a black wife, a black husband, a black boyfriend, a black girlfriend, that this vindicates them from racism when historically it really proves that it doesn't. Didn't the slave master lay around with his slaves and he was still a racist, right? I mean, they think that vindicates them, but that is what one of the people that did a statement on the behalf of Hannah. That's what they say. Oh no, she was around all races. She was all right. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And then she was like, well, she had a long-term relationship with a black man. And then the boyfriend she got now is Dominican. So that doesn't vindicate her from being a racist. Wow. Yeah, there are a lot of races that just got a fetish for black men and women and even children. Okay. Just because you got a fetish, that doesn't mean you're not a racist. But that's what this one person sat on the stand and tried to say. Yeah. Everybody got an invisible black friend that you never see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They always got that invisible black friend. Now, if they were a real friend, they would let you know what a big racist you really are. So if they haven't told you, then that's not a real friend. Actually, he was in the courtroom sitting behind her family. He was there. If you go back and look, he has a beard and he was sitting behind where her mother and father were sitting. Just look behind them. In that row behind them, you'll see the Dominican boyfriend. He was there. In fact, he was there every day during the trial. I saw him. You may have to go back and look, but he was there. He was not sitting on the same row as her parents. He was sitting on the row right behind them. please, that man ain't. If she did have that Dominican boyfriend, trust me, he ain't gonna be there by the time she's done. He gonna be long off with someone else. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for them, it's supposed to mean something, but to us, we know it means absolutely nothing. And because, to me, the biggest ones that date or mess with us outside of their race are the stone cold racists, the ones that are real, all about themselves. And those are the biggest ones that got the fetish. They are. They're the biggest ones with the fetish. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, she was nothing but a Karen with a gun. Exactly. She was a Karen with a gun, and she went out there and she killed someone. That's all. And it was not a legitimate reason. And then she tried to say he was drunk and they didn't find any alcohol in him. She just, like I said, everything she opened her mouth and said just kind of unraveled on her. Yeah, yeah, you saw that. I did a couple of videos on that where those Proud Boys, one had biracial children and a black wife. That's why I said the ones that try to act like they hate us the most, those are the ones with the biggest fetish. Now, don't y'all remember what was that guy, that duck guy? Remember, what was he, Duck something, a couple of years ago? And he was a stone cold racist, and he had a black man that was his lover. Do y'all remember that? Some of y'all might remember that. And he was another one. He was a stone cold racist, but he had, yeah, Duck Dynasty. Thank you, Tempest. Duck Dynasty. And then come to find out, he had a lover, but it was a black man that was his lover. That's why I'm saying the ones that tell you they hate us the most are the biggest, they got the biggest fetish when it comes down to us. But what I don't like is when they are like that, how our people will still be willing to be with them. That's one thing I wish would change. You should not be willing to be with someone like that. Oh yeah, that was out, man, that must have been like 2012 or 2011 when that happened. And that man was, remember, he was trying to say that black people were happy slaves. All right, y'all, some of y'all might remember. He tried to say we were happy slaves. We were happy with slavery and being slaves. And then I think like a day or two after he put that statement out there and he got called being a racist, then some black man, come to find out he had a black man that was his lover. Woo, that was funny. And then shortly after that, all that came out, he disappears. Mhm. Yeah. So, y'all, thank you so much for being here. We'll definitely do this again tomorrow. I have Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani just lost in court. He was ordered to pay the Georgia poll workers $148 million. That's why I got the hair dye running down his whole head. in the avatar. Yeah. So Rudy is not a happy camper today, but those poll workers are sure happy. So I'll be doing that one tomorrow, and I hope you all can be there. Oh, yeah, he got to pay. He got to pay. See, that's what he get for running around doing Donald Trump's dirty work. See, if you weren't doing that, you would not be paying out the butt, but you wanted to run around for Donald Trump, and you got to pay $148 million. Donald Trump ain't paying that amount, and you did all that running around for him. So sometimes you don't make a fool out of yourself for other people like Rudy did. So, y'all, I'll see you tomorrow. And everybody, please enjoy the rest of your night. Shalom, family.